Hello. There's really not an intro here, I just want to talk about some weird obscure sports. Quick disclaimer, don't do any of these things. Needless suffering's involved with all of them. Okay, here we go. So, say you're an 18th century European aristocrat and you're throwing a party. It's going fine and all, but your caged foxes are causing a ruckus and some of your guests are starting to stare. Again, you forgot to properly exercise your foxes before the party, and you're really paying for it this time. The Duke of Hampshire's Barry and Lady Eunice are roasting the shit out of you and suggesting that the next party is anywhere else but here. You can't exactly throw a playlist on to calm your foxes down, and to be quite honest, you've about had it with them. Allow me to introduce you to the wild world of fox tossing. Have your manservant go fetch some cloth slings. The 7-meter ones, not the 3 or 5-meter ones. Now go lay them down and have 2 guests stand on each end. Good. Release the foxes. Wait for them to run over the slings and pull. Yeah, so the rich and powerful used to just toss foxes or really any small animal into the air for sport. I'm not sure why they get a bad rap for being heartless. The winner was whoever could fling them up the highest, with animals usually getting slung around 20 feet in the air. As you can imagine, being suddenly slung up into the air by 2 creatures 5 times your size is probably gonna hurt. And it did, often fatally. You can also imagine that if you lived through such an ordeal, you'd be pretty pissed at the people who did it. And they were. It's said that cats were the most troublesome because if they weren't clawing your face off, they would dig their claws into the cloth so you couldn't even sling them. One time, the King of Poland, Augustus II the Strong, had a contest in which 647 foxes, 533 hares, 34 badgers, and 21 wildcats were tossed into the air and killed. Another time, Holy Roman Emperor Leopold I was seen joining in with his court dwarves and several young boys in finishing off the injured animals with a club. And pretty much every time after all this carnage, everyone would wipe off the blood, look at each other and say, well that was fun, and then head off inside for a grand banquet. Pure insanity. Nobody plays this sport if you can call it that anymore, and I think we can all see why. Fireball soccer, or sepak bola api, is a sport in Indonesia where you take a coconut, soak it in kerosene for a week, light it on fire and play. But before you go try this yourself, which you should not do, you should know a bit more about it. To prepare for the game, you need to cover yourself in fireproof salt and take part in a ritual that makes you impervious to fire. After the ritual, it is said that you will feel no fear towards the fire. Now you have to kick the fireball around with your bare feet. Yeah, it doesn't sound so badass now, does it? Just like a regular game of soccer, or football for everyone else, 2 teams of 11 try to kick the ball into the opposing goal. Instead of a stadium, these games are usually just played in fields though. This sport is played during Ramadan in several regions in Indonesia, and tourists are welcome to spectate, provided they respect the local customs and traditions. Alright men, line up. It's time to prepare for the manliest sport imaginable. No, it's not bare knuckle boxing. No, it's not powerlifting. It's not even getting through a whole one of my videos. No, we're talking about ferret legging here. Put on these white slacks. You're not wearing any underwear, right? No, that has to go. Cool. Now for the part where we stick 2 live ferrets in there and tighten your belt so they can't escape. There we go. And begin. Yes, it really is just that. The men are not allowed to be drunk or drugged for this. Furthermore, the ferrets must have a full set of teeth that have not been filed down or otherwise blunted. And yes, you heard right. You can't wear underwear, and the pants need to allow full access to both legs. There's really no skill involved here, just letting the ferrets bite at your bits without buckling like a bitch. You're allowed to try and dislodge them from the outside, but they have a pretty strong hold. And the winner is whoever lasts the longest. The current record is 5.5 hours? Good luck. Alright, no, for real though, it's time to get serious. Walking. Competitive walking. Pedestrianism. I'm talking entire tracks being built and venues sold out. Ordinary people walking in from miles around to see ordinary people walking miles around a track, cheering their asses off. I'm not kidding. This was crazy popular back in the 1800s. They followed a heel-to-toe rule, which sounds like pimp walking to me, but okay. One such pimp was George Wilson. George was attempting to walk 1,000 miles in 20 days around a pre-measured circuit and started to draw in a crowd of thousands. People started putting up booths to sell food and booze. There were acrobats and tightrope walkers, fire eaters, people singing, pony races. People started bringing in entire brothels from London. It was crazy. Every night, people just losing their damn minds over this guy just walking in a circle. Much to the delight of the local residents. People started taking bets right away if he actually could do it, but after they saw him easily clearing over 50 miles a day, they started getting worried. They tried getting him to stop and started shouting at him and arming themselves with bludgeons, stabs, and in one case, someone swiped a bayonet at him. All the while, Wilson's just like, oh hey, cut that out. After he made it to mile 750, they just run up to him and start slapping him around. By this point, the crowd is in such a frenzy that the police just arrest Wilson for disturbing the peace so the crowd would finally disperse. All in all, it just seems that we as humans want to see other humans push the limits or get hurt trying, and we'll think up just about anything to scratch that itch. I just want to say thanks for watching. If you're a fan of hand-drawn, educational, and entertaining channels like these, I feel like you'd enjoy my other videos. Just know that with every individual comment, like, and subscription I get, I'm on the other side of the screen cheering harder than those people watching Wilson. Thanks for being with me again today.